Welcome to the No Name Brand Podcast. My name is Sashka Hanarappel, actress, singer, dancer, turned brand marketing, sales, and advertising strategist who brands your soul. And each week I bring you an inspiring person or message to help you discover your undergod, turn up your leadership notches, challenge the status quo, because you're fast and furious with a powerful message to share with the world. Thank you for taking time out with me today, and without further ado, let's get our creative and wisdom juices flowing. Folks, welcome back to this week's podcast. It's so freaking great to have you back. Now, there's something I'm realizing that more and more gorgeous souls aren't hearing, and that is that you can choose who you want to be today, tomorrow, in 6 months, or even a year. Now, who you want to be is not set in stone. It's an evolution. You are not one size fits all. Hallelujah. Our next guest realized this when, after owning 2 successful businesses in the fitness industry, a very difficult market, I have to add, she traded her keys in to begin her passion project of becoming a mummy, and saw that meeting her needs and that of a growing family meant finding a new way to be. Now, once she found that, she parceled and packaged it and teaching other mamas how to be you and a mama without giving up you. Jeez, that sounds difficult. But because having it all is less about feeling frazzled, guilty, or overwhelmed. Who the hell has felt like that as a mommy? Raise your hands, me. But more about connection to what really matters. Now, you see, our next guest is bloody good at what she does and super empathetic. And her life changed when she shifted between being herself an entrepreneur and a mama. Now, it's like these light bulbs went on, that there's a choice on how to get out of your funk and on with your day, living your life to its fullest. And we all want to do that. And that means living a life to its fullest. We're going to delve into more. So, please, let's welcome the one and only Ali Zabel. Hello, Ellie.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got morning, it's afternoon over here. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Ohio, in the States.
Ah, cool. Were you born there?
I was, yes.
Ah, brilliant.
I'm still living in my hometown.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that, man. So tell me, it's great having you today, meeting all these new people and what they're doing and their mission and their vision. So let's get down to some juicy parts, mama. Yes. How the heck do you do it? Balancing business with pinkies. Spill the beans.
Well, it took some time. You went into how I went from the fitness industry and to being a mama. And now I just had to really dig deep and find myself. And it took a lot, because I think finding yourself and putting yourself out there as a brand is a scary thing. So you have to overcome a lot of fear to do that and putting yourself out there. So first I had to do that. And I realized that the business with binkies just had to come, because once I had my little guy, I knew that I wanted to be home and spend that quality time with him. So something had to change and I had to make those shifts.
Mm. And how did you make those shifts? Look, obviously, it does take time. So what was the first thing that you put into place, or what was the pivotal moment where you were like, oh, this is actually working? And then evolved into the next step, and the next step where you actually parceled and packaged everything to help other mamas, entrepreneurs.
Right. Yeah, so what I was doing is realizing that a lot of moms, for that overwhelm and frazzled part of it, wanted to do so much with their time. You have to take care of a house, and if you are an entrepreneur, you have to take care of the business and your child. So it was really getting realistic about the amount of time that I had to spend on my business and spend on my family. And a kind of key component of everything is, I call it dissecting nap time. Because that's what I found is a lot of moms that are working from home, that's when we have time to do things, is when our little ones are sleeping. So just getting super clear about what can get done and doing more in less time. So having those more productive hours has been really the key to getting myself and other moms on the right page.
Now, you come from the fitness industry, so you obviously advocate keeping yourself healthy. That's really important. And fit as well.
Yes.
Now, there's some moms who really regenerate when they need to sleep. So when the baby's sleeping, it's like, I need to sleep as well. And
Right.
those are a lot of hours.
Yes.
So between sleeping and sleeping pretty much of the day when your baby's so young as well, how do you then start putting in productive hours, working fitness and being a mom and still the housework and everything? Because you're spending quite a bit of time sleeping.
Right. Sleeping and the fitness part of it, everything. Because self-care is so important too. And that's what we want to focus on with our moms as well is you need to put yourself in there somewhere too. Because I think sometimes we come last and then we don't have what we need with the sleep and the fitness. If we don't have those components, then we can't show up for our families and our businesses. So, how we're able to do that is, again, being realistic. And then it comes to being comfortable with delegating certain things out. And that was hard for me because being an entrepreneur, I'm so used to being the one that's in charge of things and actually being able to realize like what might not be my strong suit and being able to, whether I'm hiring other entrepreneurs or if I am hiring a team for myself. So being able to delegate those things out and also being able to delegate things and get vulnerable around the household, whether it's with your partner or if you have any help or childcare or anything, just to give yourself a little bit of relief that it's okay to be able to do that.
Mm. It's a huge mindset to go, okay, I'm going to outsource this, or I'm going to ask my husband, or if your girlfriend or whatever, to help me with something around the house or help me in my business with something, because we're not used to really asking for help because it's a sign of weakness.
Right.
So where do you start with women or mommies to rethink that frame that it's a weakness, but it's actually a strength?
Right. We just sit down and really go over that mindset aspect of it and really get into talking with them and listening to them. And that's kind of one of my superpowers is finding out in talking to people what those pain points might be for that individual because it's different for everyone, right? Even though you might have different things that you feel more vulnerable to ask for. And when I became a mom, I realized that because just in talking to other first time moms, you realize that there's like a sense of loneliness in that beginning. And, you're at home with this newborn child and you're used to, maybe going out or doing certain things. And it's a different feeling. So that's when those transitions have to start to set in. But when I started looking into the business end of this, I realized that there wasn't a lot of support for new moms out there and that might be going through the same thing. And there was a lot of, if there were 20 somethings that had it all figured out and have all the time in the world to spend on their business, or the gurus who have been doing it for a decade, and it might cost tens of thousands of dollars to work with them. And moms might not have that time or money to put in the beginning. And I also realized that there was a lack of time. I did my research in getting my business started and everything because I wanted to do the due diligence and do it right so that I would have that in place for my clients. And I realized that it took a lot to get there. And I know with moms not having that amount of time, I wanted to create the path so that they could follow it and not have to do all that research and get stuck in the grind with that.
Yeah. So are you working more with new moms that are new in business or new moms that are established in their business? Because when you're starting off new, you mentioned it. I mean, it's all good and well to say, oh, yeah, outsource everything, ask for all the help, but there's no money really coming in. So
Right.
you have to do everything yourself. So trying to manage that time is really difficult. And if you're in business already and then starting off as a new mom, you kind of have planned for something coming your way. So what systems or what direction are you helping in and who are you serving exactly?
Right. I actually serve both. So I serve new moms who are making that transition, whether they're just getting into motherhood and maybe they already have a work at home business, or they're wanting to transition from like a 9 to 5 job and they're ready to go into being at home a little bit more, being present for their family, not having to go out of the house as much. But I also do work with the moms that are established and soon to be moms that have their businesses, but they're preparing for a family. Because I feel like you may have it all figured out with your business, but adding this little component, it changes so many things.
Yeah, it does. It changes heaps of things. It's just like, where the hell did that come from? Holy moly. No.
And like you
Changes.
said, you need that additional sleep, and I think it's just with these entrepreneurs that already have their businesses going, it is a very big mindset shift. And I think that it's great, the women that I'm working with that are taking that step to be proactive about it and to talk to someone who's recently been through it so that they know what types of shifts to expect and how to be realistic in their business with those.
I mean, you've evolved into your business as a mom and with your son, right? It's a son?
Yes.
Yeah. And things have just kind of found their system and found their place. Now, when you're first starting off and all these new elements come in, I mean, a baby's just throws everything. Like every kind of independence that you had before is just thrown out the window. There's literally someone depending on you. And there's a lot of, with that mindset where you are now and where someone's starting off, there's a lot of fear and a lot of survival mode. So how do you teach the mommies to kind of step away a little bit just from the survival mode and to step into the entrepreneurial role with their confidence? So you're not focusing too much on the product and service, but a little bit more on the personality and the vulnerability and the authenticity and bringing that side of the brand across rather than keeping everything very stoic and systemized.
Right. I think that the main fear is, it's scary to say your dreams out loud. It's scary to say what you want to do because it might sound silly. So when I get one-on-one with someone, it's getting super real about themselves and just learning about them. And I find that when we talk out loud to someone that you feel comfortable talking to about these things, and I'm a dreamer too, so I feel comfortable talking about those types of things. And when you talk to someone who believes in those rather than, I feel like we live in a society where, everybody's putting everybody down and it's so cynical, and we need to be able to support and empower each other. So when you're in that environment where it's comfortable, you feel less vulnerable and you're able to, maybe say it out loud, and you can hear in your voice that, yeah, that makes sense to me. That is me. It takes time. We don't get there in our first session. But over time, once we're peeling back the layers, we finally get to that point. And it doesn't take a long time, but once you build that comfortability and you're able to talk those one-on-one sessions and really just dig deep about who you are and being honest with yourself, I think that's what helps everyone overcome that fear. Is that's them, it's their brand, and they're able to put themselves, like the raw, real, authentic person out there. And it's easy to be that person. You're not acting, you're not trying to be someone different.
How do you plan your day and your week? Like, what does it look like in the life of Ellie?
Yeah, so my little guy is at home, and right now I do delegate a lot, and I have everything strategically planned out for my morning routine and nap time. Other than that, we kind of he's up and I'm being a mom. We free flow and have fun and do our little mommy and me classes and things like that. But my work day, I get a lot of it done just starting off my day with my mindset, visualization, my workout, and then I try to get a few things done around the house and go through my emails before he gets up. And I'm lucky because he sleeps in. He goes to bed a little bit later, so it works for me. I know every mom's schedules are different, so when I'm working with them, we work through all of that and we lay out the child's sleeping schedule and what's realistic to each mom's needs. And we put that first. And then the business kind of fits in, because what we realize as a work at home mom is you want to be present and show up. And my main focus is the prenatal moms to kindergarten. Just because we're the ones that are at home and you don't have that chunk of time where you have school-age kids yet.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the time where you really have to be smart about your time. So then during nap time, I'm able to get the bulk of my work done. And I have themed days, so that I work a few days a week that I focus on. That's the days that I'll take my client calls. And the other days of week, I'm working on growing my business, working on content, setting up meetings and different things like that.
That's pretty cool. And when's you time and husband time?
Well, we play bocce, which is fun. So we
What's that?
so it's a sport. It's actually an Italian sport, but it's popular in Northeast Ohio. And it's similar to curling. And I
Oh,
kind of like
okay.
curling or putting in golf. And so this one little ball, and then you try to get the other balls closer.
Oh,
That's actually
cool.
how we met playing.
Oh,
So
cool.
we still do that. And like either my parents or his parents will come over. We're lucky to have both sets of parents around that help babysit. So we do still get date night. And as for personal time, I do set aside one morning a week. My mom comes over, and that's when I'll set up like my personal appointments and like go work out and get out of the house, do the grocery shopping, some personal things. And I think that's really important, even if it's once a week or once every couple weeks. And I do notice that a lot with new moms is they don't set that time aside from themselves, and it gives them so much anxiety, and it's just not worth it.
That is so true. So tell me, what is it about women that where we can't let go of control? That we're so obsessed with this control. It's like, I can't let go of it. I can't let go of it. No, you can't do it properly. Like the husband's not doing the nappy on right. And oh my God, you didn't wash the counter the proper right way and was supposed to go anti-clockwise and not clockwise. How are you working with women to just go like, just ease off a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I think once you get to that point and you've had your little one for a little bit of time, you realize that you have to start letting go somewhere. And it's prioritizing what that means to you. So it's not necessarily like don't sweat the small stuff, but it gets to that point where it's just you realize what matters and what doesn't. And, caring for your family and being there, being present for the moments and spending that quality time together becomes more important than getting nitpicky. And it does take time to transition that mindset and get there and be okay with sweeping the carpet wrong or doing different things. But you learn to accept that and to really be grateful for just having that amount of help.
Mm. What would you say is your particular zone of genius within your business and with your clients?
Yeah, I like to feel that my superpower is just in talking to them and really finding out who they are and what their passions are, and to be able to take those passions and turn them into a business idea. Because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And because I've started several businesses and then multiple with my clients, I just really have a knack for helping people figure out what they're supposed to be doing in their business and what that means to them. And also operating them to the fullest where they could get more done in less time with that, so that they could be realistic about the amount of time that they want to spend for themselves, their family, and their business.
Oh, that's awesome. Where's Ali moving to with your business? Like, where's the big goal? Where's the big vision and mission going towards?
Yeah, I just want to be able to make an impact and really be there as a support system for these new or soon to be moms. I just feel like there's such a lack in that market. And whether it is writing a book or having a support group or just getting that word out there that there are people that understand what you're going through, and you just have to find the right people and ask for that support.
Mm. You have a really good support system with the family and in-laws and everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of people that don't, where they're single moms or single dads as well, it's the same thing. How does this freedom-based lifestyle, like, what has that taught you?
It taught me to really appreciate life, that I wish that I was more honest with myself in the beginning. I'm in my early 30s now, and I went and got my college degree and worked with my family and building businesses. And I feel like I was going through the motions a lot of the time. And it wasn't until I had my son that I sat back and I said, I deserve to be me. But what does that mean? Like, I need to do what makes me happy. And it took a lot for me to get there. I started the process a year before I launched my business just because I was tiptoeing around it. Like Northeast Ohio, with the online business, it's not a big thing. People don't really understand like what you're doing. So getting everything together and working on it, and there's not like huge support for it here. So I had to do my due diligence and research and to get to that point.
Mm. Was it a little bit of a tug of war, leaving both businesses that you had prior with fitness in the fitness industry and then moving to something pretty much different to what that is? And then when something wasn't immediately a success, going, oh, maybe I should go back to the other business. What were your thoughts, or what were your go-to pick-me-ups to go, no, Ellie, we're doing this, we've got this. And then how are you motivating yourself?
Yeah, it took a lot of motivating in myself. I'm trying to think of the best way to say that. So in the fitness industry, I loved what I was doing, and I was a health coach, and it was aligned with what I'm doing now because I worked one-on-one with my clients to reach a goal, and that's essentially it. But it wasn't necessarily a tug of war. Like, I set my mind to, this is where my path is leading. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I really got tunnel visioned on that, because being that I have that entrepreneur spirit, I was taking on projects and so many things. And that's what was getting overwhelming. Like, I thought somebody wanted me to sell their beauty line product, and another person wanted me to do different things in the health coaching industry, or selling supplements or essential oils. And there just came a part where I'm like, I need to focus on me and start saying no to all these other opportunities, because I didn't want to spread myself so thin doing just a little bit in all of these. I wanted to put my focus in the one thing. So once I made that decision, and I had a personal training studio prior to doing this, and I was driving there one day, and it was tough. Like, personal training hours, you're working before and after the 9 to 5, because most of your clients work that 9 to 5. So I'd get up early in the morning, and then when my husband would come home, I'd leave for work. So the one day I was driving there, and I'm like, I'm missing out quality time with my husband and my son. So it wasn't working for me anymore. So then that's when I figured, and I had already had that nugget in the back of my mind that I wanted to make this transition, but that was kind of that pivotal moment where I'm like, this is going to change. And once I made that decision and got honest with myself about it, I didn't really do the tug of war with myself, just because I knew that this is what I was meant to be doing. So I went full force with it.
That's amazing. When you make the choice, like, yes, I'm on the way, I'm going. It's amazing. So how do you want to change or challenge the world doing what you do?
Well, I think that it's just letting people know to be honest with yourself. I keep going back to that, and that it's okay to do that. I think a lot of people put that persona on, they're trying to be someone different to impress other people. And it just becomes difficult, and you end up playing these charades. But I think when you can be honest and realistic with yourself and what you want to be doing, then you could be the best version of yourself, and you can show up better for people and your clients.
I love that. I love that. As we're coming to the end, I would like to ask you your input on 3 of my core values. One of them being, and for you to fill in the blanks. So one of them being is creativity for you is?
Being yourself and being able to put what is in your mind and your vision into action.
Cool. Wisdom for you is?
Being able to learn from your mistakes.
Passion for you is?
What you want to be doing with what you have, with the time that you have, and something that just, like, from your core gives you that fire and light that makes you want to be doing something very special.
Thank you, Ellie, for being with us here today on the podcast and sharing your passion and creativity and wisdom with us, and how you see or envision the world changing by changing yourself first, and how you have changed and set that in motion. You can find out more about Ellie in the show notes, in her social media handles, and on her website. And you can also find out what her favorite book is, her favorite quote, and she'll have a little special offer for you, which you can have a look at as well. I wish you an awesome day. Have a gorgeous morning and a weekend. And for all the listeners, we'll be seeing each other next week, where we'll be diving into the rabbit hole again and listening to some more movers and shakers who are changing the world by changing themselves first. Have an awesome one, guys. Love you lots. Bye-bye. Dang, That was just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I enjoyed having you on board, and please do me and you a favor. Head on over to iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Click subscribe, and a super bonus, leave your review and you stand a chance of being announced and advertised on the show. I'm always striving to ensure that your brand is uplifted and empowered. Remember, done is better than perfect. So be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and send in your feedback too. You're the absolute best. Keep rocking.